I have to admit, that was a little tricky. And we've had a separation from a bit of a jolt. Hello and welcome to this latest video from me, Jason, here at Barnabas Junction. In this video I'm going to be doing something I've not done for a while, and that's having a look at some products available on the model railway market. Some of you will have seen the thumbnail of this video, so you'll already know what it's all about. Yes indeed, it's all about the new product from West Hill Wagon Works, and these are the Dellner pivot multiple working couplings for the Bachmann class 220 and 221 Voyager set, which, funny enough, I've got one just here. This set I've got was one of the very first sets that Bachmann ever released. This was the 5-car set, and it had its problems, it had its brilliantness as well. But one thing I did find very annoying was the coupling system on it. I've got the coach here, one of the coaches here, and as you can see on the coach it has a drawbar. These drawbars do pull out. There we go. It's just a short drawbar and they just slot in to a little hole there just underneath the carriages and the power cars. Now, I never liked these because you basically got to connect the whole train together, got to put them in, the whole train together and put on their side, probably on their side, and then tilt them over to onto your track. Some people manage to get them to connect up on the track, with some positive moments from that. It wasn't particularly that easy, didn't always work, was a bit fiddly, but there was no other alternative for these coaches and power cars to be connected together unless you used a drawbar that I was aware of. So the guys over at West Hill Wagon Works, I had a chat with them, and I've been waiting some time for this product, and they did promise me it was in the pipeline, and it's now available. So we also have the coupling system, magnetic coupling system, blunt coupling system for these exact models, as well as the Dellner couplings for the front. So you can connect two sets together, just as you see here. I've got the two power cars from this 5-car set. The 5-car set, this is the actual power car from the set, the motorised power car. This is actually very heavy, a bit noisy. But the power cars for the train, you can now, with this kit, connect together using these. So in this video, that's what we're going to do. We're going to have a look at fitting these and replacing the drawbars with these couplings. So I'll bring the camera down closer to the stock and we'll have a look. So here we are on the layout. We're in the TMD. So what better place to be doing work on locomotives and rolling stock. So in front of you is the 2 packs. We've got the coach coupling pack. That is a pack of 10 pairs, which is more than enough than I need for this 5-car Voyager set. And we've got 2 of the Dellner set. Now, there's obviously, I'm not necessarily going to be using these because I don't have a second Voyager set, but we're going to have a look at how these potentially will fit into these. So let's take the Dellner set out of the packets. Okay, so here we have 2 sets of couplings, and straight away the detailing on these is really good. You've got pipework detailing on them. They are pivot, so obviously you get the pivoting of the power cars. Look at the detail of the cabling underneath, to the point where, if we can just separate them, see these are magnets, separate them, they are very strong. Let's have a look at one individual. There is the magnet, as you can see, but even down to the very fine wire underneath that's really fragile. Be very careful with that. So that is what comes in the pack. Now, how do these fit? That is the question. Shall we have a look? Okay, so these are both unpowered power cars for the set, and what we need to replace is the Dellner socket that's already in. Okay, it's pretty simple to get to that. As you can see, it's surrounded, it's got a surround around it, and that is simple to do. You literally just waggle and it will simply pop off. Now this was the very first model, so it might be fractionally different on your model if you've got one. Now there is the original Dellner. Now looking at this, there is a peg just here, and there is a peg, a little tiny peg at the front. So let's just compare with the Westall Wagon Works version, and we can see that there is a peg on there to replace the peg on there. Now this set is quite old, and this is actually loose. So what I'm going to do is just have a look at the other one. That one is actually solid. So sometimes that one has been knocked, so it is loose. So hopefully that means we can take it out without any problem. So let's see how it comes off. Oh, and there's the reason why it's actually loose. You can just see, you can see where the hole where the big peg should be, it's actually snapped off. So we may have some issues here fitting this one from Westall Wagon Works. Can we get their replacement coupling in? Well, I'll be back with you and see if I can get that remaining section out of there. Be right back. Okay, back now after fitting them. I have to admit that was a little tricky. Finding out that the original coupling, which had snapped off, the peg was well and truly stuck in, so I had to file that out. But when I came to fit the hunt coupling, the pivot section snapped. As you can just see, I've just focused that, you can just see it snapped on the pivot section for the peg, and I lost it on the floor. So this part here, this end section, that bit snapped off. That might not necessarily be down to the coupling, so I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. It might have been due to my manhandling, trying to get it to go in to the socket in there. But when I came to do this side, that was a lot easier. That one wasn't stuck in. Oop. I actually managed to get that peg out. As you can see, it's quite a little deep peg that was inside. That came out relatively easy, and that went in relatively easily without any damage whatsoever. So what do I think about this product? I think it looks fantastic. If you can get those out without snapping the pegs, those will go in very easily, but bearing in mind they can be fragile. My concern is that that pivot area is that fragile that it will be able to withstand the constant running of a train if you've got two sets linked together. So out of 10, I would probably give these about a 7 out of 10. Primarily on its looks, its usability for connecting two Voyager sets together, and just knocking it. I would have given it about a 9, but the fact that that hinge is very, very fragile, and I'm unsure whether it will be able to withstand the constant running. If it was just for a static model, no problem whatsoever. But what I have decided to do is I'm going to keep those on because they actually look really good. Look better than the clunky solid plastic ones that were in there. I'm going to see how long they last, and I'll give an update on that in the future. But let's see them together, shall we? Let's see if they work. And like magic, they are connected. So, yeah, they were donated to me to trial out. I'm not endorsing the product. I'm not being made to try and sell it to you. I am giving you an honest review on these brand new products from Westhill Wagon Works. 7 out of 10 is what I give them. Have you bought some? What do you think? I think they look fantastic, and their usage is going to be very, very interesting. You can see that magnet, how powerful that magnet is. You can see it moving as I go closer. How they survive with multiple use, we'll have to wait and see. Let's go on and do the coupling bars now. So I'll remove this and we'll bring in the coaches. Okay, so now we have the coupling for the coaches. There they connect together. How these are connected together originally is the drawbar from this set. This is what is used to connect between the coaches. There, just a simple drawbar. And what we're going to do is replace these drawbars with these coupling packs. So here we have two of the coaches, and as you can see they are linked together. Now obviously you can't take one coach off without taking the whole set off because they're all drawbar together. Benefit of the drawbars is they literally will stay together all the time. Non-benefits of the drawbar is if you want to take one coach off, you've got to take the whole set off. Now they can be sometimes quite fiddly to separate. They don't always separate. But what I wanted to highlight is, before we switch, is the distance between these two coaches. As you can see, quite a distance there. There is a gap, okay? If we push the coaches together, we get a very small gap between them. If we pull them, you can see they bounce about. That isn't obviously the drawbar, that is the underneath coupling set where the drawbar sits in the sockets that go in that just got that little bit of movement. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this drawbar out and put one of these in there in its place. Okay, now with that drawbar removed, we have the magnetic couplings, hunt couplings now in place. Now these are actually very, very strong, and they are multi-directional, so you don't need to worry about a pole. So you can see if we pull them apart, there we go, you can hear them. But if we turn one round, if you get it the wrong way round, they will repel. So you've got to make sure when you put them in, you get them in the right way up to pair up together like so. Okay. Right. How do those go in? Well, pretty simple. They literally slot in the bottom area. And I've got another one of the power cars. This is the motorized power car, and we can see there they literally just slot into those sockets just there where the drawbar was. Let me move these out of the way and let's look at the coaches. Let me just turn these over so you can see. There's the mechanism underneath. Now on these coaches I mentioned about them moving, that's because they've got this pivot function and there is play in them, so you do get a bit of the movement, and that is for both sides. So they are back on the track now. Let's have a look then. How do these pair up? Remember that gap we had before? Let's see what sort of gap we get now and how well they stay together. That was a good connection. We are connected, yes, indeed we are. We are well connected. We'll give it a jiggle test. You can see after so much they will separate. But they do stay well together. And the gap, I think that's pretty much the same gap. That's pretty much the same gap as with a bar. The benefit is being we can now separate them without having to take the whole train off in one piece. So I'm going to get all the drawbars now replaced with these, and we'll give it a run. Let's see how she goes. So here we have now the Voyager on the layout. It's all connected up with the Hunt couplings. 5-car set, Bachmann Voyager. Let's see how it manages with those couplings. The centre car is the power car. It's the one with the motor in it. So it's a push-pull system. Let's see how she runs. So far so good. Give it some, speed it up. All good. So let's bring it round and we'll do a stop-start test to see how it copes with the magnet strengths. So we just stop there. Let's see how she copes. Seems okay. Dirty wheels. And stop it. No problem, just reverse it. And back again. Back again. Hoping fine from sudden start. And we've had a separation from a bit of a jolt in the running. Right, so we do have a problem with the magnetic couplings. If the train jolts a little tiny bit, as you can see on the camera there, it did separate during operation. Let's bring the rest of the train back, recouple it back up, and see if it happens again. So the rest of the train is now back, brought it back. We're just going to couple these back up, see if it'll couple back up. You heard it click, bring it to a stop and move it off again. Now I'm going to move this off at sudden high speed. I'm going to whack the controller to maximum and see how it does. Managed no problem that way. Let's reverse it. So it's reversed. So it's way back, no problem. Bring it back. No problem. It may have been just that once. Let's do a separation test, just manually by hand, to show that, see if we can replicate that sudden jolt and see how strong the magnet is. There we go, it's separated. So that is just a minor jolt and they are separating. So they're not hugely strong. They will, if your train does jolt at all, they will separate. You can see I am not giving it much of a jolt. So the idea is very good. It does work, but it does have its minor faults. Now, is it better to stay with the drawbars, or is it better to stay with these Hunt couplings? What do you think, guys? Let us know in the comments below what you think about these couplings. They are the Westhill Wagon Works coupling pack for the Batman Class 222 and 221 Voyager. That's an open review of these. They have been long awaited by myself. I am pleased to have them. So thank you very much to Westhill Wagon Works for kindly donating this set. I will be leaving them on, as I don't run this very often, but for when it is running, it does run really well. And I do my favourite bit is the fact that you can take off these coaches with ease, like so. So that is the Westhill Wagon Works magnetic couplings for the Batman Voyager. Hope this has helped to decide on what you might want to do with your Voyagers. Will you change the magnetic couplings, or will you stick with the drawbar? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, take care, stay safe, and keep on modelling. Bye from Barnabas Junction.